The holiday season has a way of bringing out the wonder and imagination in all of us, and one local author is capturing that magic beautifully in a new book. Let's welcome Nancy Merrill, author of Elf Dust. Nancy, great to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And this book, I mean, the artwork is stunning. Tell us about what's in these pages.
This book is based on the premise that elves visit children throughout the world throughout the month of December. And they come in, they sneak into the home and hide, watch children so that they can create Santa's naughty and nice list. So throughout the month, kids should expect to see the glittering elf dust in their homes.
Okay.
That's how they know they've been there. Pets don't know they're there, and there's pictures of pets with elves nearby and they don't know they're there. So it's all about how the elves come to visit.
So the elf dust is the remnants of what the elves are leaving behind.
Basically, when they've been there, they've watched, and they need to go back to the North Pole, they snap their fingers and disappear, and the elf dust is left behind.
Okay.
So then the children come, see it, and then they know an elf has been there. Mm-hmm. And when I created it, I knew how my son at 3 years old would react, and he went nuts. Oh my gosh, Mom, when were they here? What were they doing? And the best question, was I being good?
Was I being good?
Was I being good? Oh yeah. And then he goes to all of his friends, and now I've got an apartment full of kids, and they're looking at the dust that was by a chair leg, and they're all gathered around like archaeologists at a dig. Mm-hmm. They're looking at this specimen, go, oh my gosh, look at that. Mm-hmm. And then later on, the other moms did the same thing. I gave them all elf dust, mm-hmm. and they did the same thing. So it created this enormous excitement.
Mm-hmm. And this was created from personal experiences, but can you get into the inspiration of where elf dust came from and where this book ended up coming from?
I lived in Hong Kong in a high-rise. And in a high-rise, you have no chimney, and Santa's not going to land on your roof. Mm. So that was a problem. And I had a very energetic, imaginative 3-year-old who was excited about Christmas. So I had to come up with something. Mm. And Elf just came to me one day driving to work. And it just worked so well, in fact, that 2 years later, when his sister was old enough to really appreciate what this was all about, he took her, showed her the dust, and she went to touch it. He pulls her back and says, "You can't touch it, you'll become an elf." It worked.
It worked. It worked. And what I think is really special, we were talking a little bit earlier, and elves, I feel like, have exploded in popularity over the recent years. But what separates elf dust from some of the other traditional elf things that we see around the holiday season?
In this book, there's two. This is Cookie and Jingle on the cover, but there are many elves throughout the book, because each child should really imagine their own elf. Yours might have pink hair, mine might have purple, mine might dress a certain way. So it gives the children a chance to really imagine their own situation. Yeah. What were they doing in my house? Yeah. What was I doing when they were here? Mm-hmm. So I think there's not enough imagination anymore. We've got screens and television, and just leave the child to their own imagination. Mm-hmm. And one interesting side story, one of my friends in Hong Kong, her son, she overheard him asking the pet, the dog, "Did you see the elves?"
The dog's like, no?
No, no. I mean, this is how it just overtakes them, yeah. Which is really fun.
It is, and it's such a wonderful concept. And now this book has been out for about a month.
About a month.
Perfect time for the holiday season.
Yep.
So I know that, we're still reveling in the excitement of this book, but what, are you working on anything, Nancy?
These two are going to be, Cookie and Jingle were born in this process, and I'm going to do more with them, for sure. That's coming up for next year, but for now, we're just trying to get elf dust into as many families' hands as possible. Grandparents are loving it to send, because it's a tradition and it's an activity and it's a book all in one. So they're loving it, and parents love it because it's so easy. A couple of spots of elf dust for a week, you're done. Yeah. Wait for him to be found, and then do it the next week.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is talk to the kids about what they imagine.
Yeah. Well, we can get it in our houses now. elfdustbook.com is where you can go to get this book. Nancy, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your wonderful story.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
We're back in 2 minutes.